A picture-perfect lesson is a science lesson that uses the power of picture books to make science more meaningful for kids. And our lessons have three main components. The first is scientific inquiry. All of our lessons are inquiry-based, and they're based on the science standards. The second component is the 5E model. All of our lessons use the 5 E's. We organize the lesson that way, where every lesson starts with an engage phase, then explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. And the third component is reading strategies. We pull in reading strategies where they fit with the read alouds. So a picture-perfect lesson is a lesson that incorporates all of those things.
So our first book was written for grades 3 through 6, and typically those teachers are more comfortable teaching science, but maybe not as comfortable teaching reading, and maybe they don't see themselves as a reading teacher. So we really wrote that book to help those teachers incorporate the reading strategies into their lessons. We had some success with that book, and we decided to do another one for teachers of primary grades who were comfortable with the reading strategies and the picture books, but maybe not as comfortable teaching science. So we just really wanted to give teachers easy to use lessons that incorporated science and reading.
I think that the thing that really appeals to teachers is it gives them a way to fit science into the school day, and a lot of elementary teachers have trouble fitting science in. Another thing that teachers really like is we have all of the handouts, all the student pages, the teacher instructions, it's all there, and the lessons are just ready to use in the classroom. And of course, teachers love picture books.
And I think the lessons are not intimidating to teachers. They're easy to use, and that's why they love them. We always start with the science standard in mind, and then we do a lot of shopping. We love to shop. And we pull in books that fit or explain a concept that we want to explain, or that do a really good job of engaging students on a particular topic. But sometimes when we're shopping, we find a book that is just a great book, and we just think, oh, there's got to be a science lesson in there. For example, Lucas and his Loco Beans, about the Mexican jumping bean. We found that book, and then we built a lesson around that book, and it's just one of our favorite lessons.
Working with her. No, actually one of the biggest challenges that we ran into when we started with these lessons is the picture books would go out of print. So we would have this lesson designed, and teachers would want to do it, and the book would go out of print, and then no one could get the book.
They'd go on Amazon, and it was $1,000 for a book or something like that.
So we're luckily NSTA Press, our wonderful publisher, has brought the out-of-print books back into print. So if teachers can't find them on Amazon.com or in their local bookstore, they can get them at nsta.org, which is wonderful for us. So all of the lessons that we have now, the books are in print.
We really have science at the core, and we use the 5 E's. So we actually made up what we call our lesson designer to keep us true to the 5 E's. And we have, engage, and then we kind of brainstorm ideas of how we could engage the students in the concept. Explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate, and we work together to come up with a lesson that has a good flow and good feel to it, but really has the science concept that we're interested in teaching at its core. And after we kind of come up with that outline of a lesson, we try it out. We give it to teachers to try it out in their classrooms, or we go into classrooms and do some model lessons. And then
that's where we really find out if it's going to work or not. You try it with the kids, and then we come back and we revise. Because once you get into the classroom, that's where the rubber meets the road, and so we learn a lot about our lessons when we try them out in the classrooms.
Yeah, our turtle hurdles lesson, we started by having the kids have these little cards that they would flip over, and we thought, oh, that'll work, right? And so we give all the third graders a stack of cards, and suddenly there's cards all over the room. So that's
and they were also cheating in the game.
Yeah.
They were stacking the deck.
Yeah.
So we came up with another way. We have a little cootie catcher or fortune teller. where the kids find out the fate of their turtle in a better way. So we have lots of examples like that of
you have to
trying
you
it
have
out.
to test them out.
We hope that teachers will feel more comfortable teaching science and just experience the joy of teaching science and really getting into inquiry. And we just think that the picture books make science more approachable. They make teachers more comfortable with it. And our lessons, we always include elements of fun. So I think that we hope that they just have fun with these lessons, kids and teachers too.
Now that I have my own kids, I have 4 children, and I read to them at night, my favorites are kind of changing, like Very Hungry Caterpillar. I love to read that book. I love the reaction to it. I love how they stick their fingers through the little holes. So I have like a favorite a week because they like a book for a week and then it's on to the next one, and then it's my favorite. So it's really hard to pick a favorite book.
Yeah, it's hard for me too to pick a favorite. Karen always teases me because I always say, this book's my favorite, and then I'll be like, this book's my favorite. Multiple times throughout a workshop, I throw that phrase around, this is my favorite. One that comes to mind, there's a beautiful book called Rice is Life about an island in Bali, and it's about the life cycle of the rice plant, but it's also about this community and how rice is really their life. Another one I love that I read to my son is If I Build a Car. Jack from the back seat said to his dad, this car is okay, this car is not bad. I have the whole book memorized because we read it so many times. And we designed a lesson around that about engineering and what engineers do and the engineering that goes into building cars.
That lesson bombed horribly the first time we tried it in the classroom, by the way. Took some major revisions, but now it's a really fun lesson. And I think our favorite book to use right now in workshops, it has got to be Harnessing the Wind by William Kamkwamba. And it's this beautiful story, a true story about a boy who lives in Malawi who has the idea to build a windmill to help his country, his village, because they're experiencing a famine. And what's so cool about it is that it's a true story, and it tells about the obstacles that he had to overcome in order to build the windmill.
And we read that book, and then we show kids a video of William, a short documentary that they've made about him, and it just really brings home the idea that this is a true story and that you can generate electric current just with simple materials. And they learn about that relationship between magnetism and electricity through the context of that great story.